Hi guys.
Hi.
Another interview. It is kind of 3:30 here on Saturday. Everyone's had a very busy, long day. So hello to everyone at home. We are with our next interviews from Infinite Flight. And we're here with Jason and we're here with Taylor as well.
Yep.
So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Colin.
Welcome. So first of all, how has the event been for you guys?
So far it's been really good. This is my first expo with Infinite Flight. Haven't been able to make the other ones. So finally getting to be here, seeing, I've heard about the booths and stuff for the last few years. Finally getting to meet some of the community members that I interact with every single day. It's really cool. It's awesome.
Excellent. And have you had many people over at your booth checking out Infinite Flight?
Yeah, it's we usually have a decent turnout at the booth just because it's so easily accessible. So we'll talk more about it, but we're on iPads, so we've got a bunch of them there, and you don't have to wait your turn usually in line. So it's a nice interactive space, I think.
Excellent, cool. So just for the people at home then who are watching, who may not know who Infinite Flight or who maybe haven't seen your faces, just be nice to have a little introduction from yourselves and then just a little bit about what you do at Infinite Flight, and we'll start with you, Taylor.
Yeah, my name is Tyler. I manage the air traffic control community for Infinite Flight. So I'm an actual air traffic controller by day.
Okay.
And then I also work with Infinite Flight, so I handle the training, the recruiting, organizing just the controller effort so that we have a presence around the world. So when the pilots are flying around on any of our servers, they have ATC coverage to interact with. So my big thing is just engaging with the ATC community and making sure that A, they have a good experience, and then B, from the pilot perspective, that they're engaged and kind of give that realistic edge mobile device.
Excellent. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. And yourself, Jason?
Yeah, so I'm Jason Rosewell, and I'm in the digital marketing field for Infinite Flight. So they brought me on just over a year ago now to sort of help increase our brand awareness. Social media, all that kind of stuff, ramp everything up. And my job here at FSExpo is mostly to kind of nurture those connections that we have, follow up, schedule meetings for the bosses, and just try and keep us in the community's eye, even if they can't be here.
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. So two very community-orientated jobs that we've got here. So I think for this interview, let's focus on that more so than kind of the systems and the tech behind the app as well. That sound good? Cool. So in 5 words, for people who may not know what Infinite Flight is, do your best. How would you describe it?
5 words. The simulator you take anywhere. I mean, really, wherever you go, it's there.
Wow. Look at Jason. He is impressed. Would you have said that?
No pressure.
Nope.
Wow, that was dead on.
Practice that one.
Good job. Good job. So yeah, it's like you said, it's a mobile simulator. It's very accessible. People can just get it on their tablet, their phones and stuff. So I'm so impressed with that. Good job. So like we said, a massive focus for you guys is the community, okay? So whilst we are here at a big event like the FSExpo, just how important are big events in general important for you guys, and how does that help, with the whole branding and also getting out the message about Infinite Flight to the people?
I think the big thing for us is just being able to actually tell our story face to face. Jason really works hard on the media. We have social media. We have this huge reach, but I think there's something a lot more special when you can meet someone and say, this is why we do what we do. We listen to you. This is how we've listened to you. And, you asked for the X Cub, here's the X Cub, you've asked for this. And I think it's really cool to engage and not only tell our story, but hear their story and find out what they're looking for, because there's everybody has that little something that they're looking for in a simulator, and we want to bring all of it together and try to deliver.
Excellent. Anything to add there, Jason?
Yeah, I think that just the community focus is the best, probably the most important or the most visible for us. In addition to that, we're also going to be at Oshkosh this year. The focus for that is different than FSExpo, where we want to let the pilot community know that here we are, right? A lot of people know about X-Plane. Everyone knows X-Plane exists, or P3D. They don't necessarily know that there's a simulator option that you can take anywhere. and that has multiplayer and ATC. So that's a really important part of what we're doing.
Awesome. So you mentioned ATC as one of the multiplayer components then. So how is that built into Infinite Flight, and how does that help form that community spirit that you guys are looking to deliver?
With our ATC community, it's basically, there's a fork in the road. You're a pilot, you're a controller, and we found ways for everybody to interact on both sides. So if you want to control, you can hop on there, and it's a good way to interact because a lot of those same users that fly, they're also the ones that are controlling on the other end, so they understand both aspects. And we've really tried to build it up so that it's approachable, not super intimidating.
Sure.
So it's I think we've got a really, really good team of controllers that are really enthusiastic about it, and it shows when you come across the community and they're really proud of the work that they get to do.
So if someone wanted to become an ATC controller on Infinite Flight, what's the kind of steps in the process for someone to get there?
Yeah, for that we have, if you come onto our community forum, we have all the recruiting instructions. You reach out to a recruiter. We've got training materials available for you. We have manuals that mimic a lot of the real life publications and stuff that I have to follow in the real world. So we've tried to make it accessible and not so intimidating for somebody that just wants to pick up the iPad and experience it without having to be in training for a year or 2 years or something like that.
And just to clarify, all of this air traffic control stuff can be done on your tablet, your phone. There's no desktop or applications.
So you're on your tablet just like you would fly. You can also do air traffic control right there on the app wherever you are. And actually we just had about 10 of our controllers were right here in the lounge controlling while they were here. So.
And they heard over all of this noise?
Yep, that's a testament to being able to do it wherever you are.
Wow, so all you need is a Wi-Fi connection, your phone, tablet, and you're good to kind of control.
Business, absolutely, yeah.
Awesome, cool. So obviously I imagine a lot of the people who are watching are very familiar with other services such as VATSIM and IVAO and obviously POSCON upcoming as well. How does ATC on Infinite Flight differ, and what would you say to users to try and entice them to come and use Infinite Flight for that reason?
I think one of the big advantages for Infinite Flight is just that the amount of time to get spun up and to be trained and to be able to actually access all parts of the world is much faster. We allow our controllers to control all over the world, and I think there's that level of diversity, being able to work London Heathrow approach, and then the next day you're at Palm Springs in California working the tower. I think that's really interesting, and that's something where I wanted to really differentiate from others where you were only Dallas Center. You know what I mean? I wanted them to have that experience of going anywhere in the world, working different types of aircraft, whether it's GA, long haul. I think there's something that's really neat about saying, oh, I've controlled all over the world on my device.
One thing too that I'll add is that with our interface, you're using commands on the screen as opposed to doing voice. And while some people really crave that voice interaction, what our system does is, on the positive side, is that it cuts down on the communication barrier for the most part. So, somebody that's maybe their English isn't that great, or they might have a very strong accent, to us. Doesn't matter, because they're going to hear the readback the way that everybody hears it, and I'm going to hear the readback if you're on the other side of the world the way that I need to hear it. Right, so that cuts down. That's a big differentiator, I think, as well.
So it just helps break down the barriers and stuff to try and enable, again, like you said earlier, it's a very accessible platform, and that's.
Well, and exactly, and then we have events, our Friday Night Flight events on the expert server. Well, it's across all servers, but our expert server has the Tyler's ATC group, and we can have. Over the span of a 24-hour period, thousands of pilots, all receiving ATC services. So that's the thing is, there can be a queue of 40 airplanes at an airport, and you're in a gate hold because you can't move. So that's kind of exciting. It can be frustrating, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
So you say thousands of pilots and stuff. So you must have a massive community where I guess everyone meets. Do you have something like that at the minute where you kind of have all this information and people can interact and stuff?
So one of the things that I do every single week is I put out a schedule for where all of our controllers are going to be, with an entire world to cover, and my desire to let them kind of control anywhere in the world and move around, we schedule where in the world we're going to be. So right now, with FSExpo going on, all the controllers are actually in Florida right now. So Palm Beach, Orlando, Tallahassee, they're all open. Tomorrow they'll be in a completely different part of the world. And what we do is we try to schedule different themes, featured airlines. So Alitalia maybe one day, British Airways the next day. And it's this way to really bring together the community in a way that allows them to experience airlines that, you know, some virtual airlines or some users, they may say, oh, I just want to fly Delta all the time. But this kind of opens the doors to experience new routes, new aircraft, and things that they may not have done that in turn helps them connect with somebody else from that part of the world. And it's kind of like this sense of appreciation for each other.
Definitely, and I guess you have like a massive forum at the minute which you use to kind of spread this information.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to check out our user forum, it's community.infiniteflight.com. And we have upwards of 60,000 active users. On a daily basis, we'll have, I think, around 5,000 or 6,000 people sometimes active in the topics. It also depends on what we have going on. If we're about to release an aircraft that people are waiting for, there's a lot of activity at that point. A lot of anticipation. We have a lot in the summer. Well, the Northern Hemisphere summer is really busy with people out of school and things like that. But yeah, we have super active community over, I'm going to butcher this, I think a few 100,000 followers on Facebook. We're about to hit 100,000 on Instagram. 95. So we're planning the graphic for that. And then Twitter, I think, I don't even remember. Anyway, lots on Twitter as well.
But a big following.
25,000 on Twitter. So.
Wow, so a big following and very loyal fan base as well. I mean, every time we've seen your booths and stuff at these events are always packed, full of people who are just enjoying using the simulator.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is we'll attend, and this isn't to toot our own horn at all, saying these numbers, just to say that like there's a lot of enthusiasm for what's going on and a lot of passion. That comes with challenges, as you guys know, but it's an amazing community, and we have some people that have formed lifelong friendships, and they're here and they're hanging out, and they fly from. We met you guys in Cosford last year, and we have people come from North America to hang out in Cosford with us. So it's just a testament to how strong the community is and how Flight Sim can bring people together in general.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I keep telling this, but like there are 1,500 people here today, which for a Flight Sim conference in North America is just unheard of. So.
Yeah, absolutely massive. And we were talking about this yesterday. We thought it was really cool that this was one of the first years that we noticed when our community showed up, they all had plans together. You know, a lot of times it's the first thing on the list is we're going to come meet the community. They all had plans to go to Kennedy Space Center, and it's just really cool to see that they're not just here just for Infinite Flight, they're here for like each other as well, because they become friends and they share a lot of, you know, just day-to-day conversations and stuff about each other. It's really cool.
And I guess all of that was built up through interactions through Infinite Flight, through your forum community and all that kind of stuff as well. I want to shift gear just a little bit away from the community and to talk about what you showed off very recently. You teased a little 30-second clip. Could you just tell us a little bit more about that and why actually it is such a big deal, actually what that aircraft is and the inside about why that is so special?
Yeah, so one of the biggest criticisms that we have is the fact that our cockpits aren't interactive at all or functional. They're static images on the displays. So we said, now the devices are getting a little more powerful. They can handle more that we can throw at them. So we actually have, and we did put the focus on global flight, satellite imagery, ATC multiplayer. These put a lot of strain on the device. So the cockpits had to wait. So now, with the release of the impending release of the X-Cub, which was a really fun addition, especially for GA, for general aviation lovers, X-Cub is coming in, well, I'd say inside a month. We never set deadlines for our developers, and so therefore we don't have release dates. We want to ship a product that's done, period. And X-Cub has the G1000 and the G3.
The GX3.
GX3.
Yeah.
And then we have, so that comes with our Pro subscription, but not to worry for those who don't have the subscription, there's a free version of the X-Cub coming with a small selection of liveries and steam gauges with a small display. And I'm not a pilot, so I don't remember what that display is called, but it's a screen. And this is a first for us, so it's really, really exciting. And it's laying the groundwork for, we have the A350 in development, which is by far our most requested aircraft. It's a pretty new aircraft, so you don't really see it in sims. So we are adding it. We have the data for it, and of course it's a glass cockpit, so X-Cub is setting us up for that.
Awesome. I saw the trailer, it looks awesome, and I'm sure everyone else can watch it through FSCD and obviously through your channels as well. So before we go, just want to ask, how does community feedback then, I guess, like you just mentioned, the 350 is one of the most requested aircraft you've had. So how does feedback from the community help shape your roadmap going forward?
Yeah, great question. I love this question. So there's a community feedback is obviously massive, and the challenge becomes when we have a roadmap that includes our community, absolutely. What's the market demand? And then we also have a goal for where we want our simulator to be. So we want to reach out to the real world general aviation community and airlines and so on. So the community feedback plays into it. It's super important, and it's just a part of what we need to consider when deciding. And so just recently we did a poll on our community. We had how many votes, Tyler, on that? For almost 5,000?
5,000, yeah, 5,000
votes, and oddly enough, we were surprised by the result, but we went through all of our feature requests and we put them in a poll, and the 777 came out on top for a rework. So 777 it is.
Yeah, we don't argue it. The people have spoken, and a lot of times it comes down to a compromise. We knew that there was a need for a GA aircraft. We went that route, but also at the same time, there was a huge demand for the A330. So we took time. We kind of went off of our course a little bit, and we did some reworks on that. So everything we do is we listen to them. What do they want? I mean, they're kind of like the heartbeat to this entire operation. So it's, if they're happy, we're happy.
Excellent. And finally, just give a little shout out to where people can find out a little bit more about Infinite Flight, and also where they can follow you and stuff as well. That would be great.
Yeah, so you can go to infiniteflight.com. You can get pretty much everywhere from there. But if you go to infiniteflight.com/timeline, we have a developer timeline that's pretty new. We're sharing all kinds of stuff that we've never done before, because it's always like, oh, we're working on, let's say, clouds. We would be timid to share that, because if it falls through and we can't do it because of some technical challenge we didn't see coming, that feels like egg on our face. But we're taking a different approach to say, listen, this is what we're working on, and we're going to communicate it to you all. So that's a great place to go. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Infinite Flight. And the forum again is community.infiniteflight.com, and we'd love to see you all join us.
Excellent. Honestly, thank you both so much for taking the time. It's been a real pleasure. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the show. Okay. Thank you very much for everyone else who's watching at home. And we'll be back tomorrow with some more interviews and live streams from FSExpo 2019. Take care and have a good night.